We're all about good karma here on...
we are good karma.
We're going to bring Willie here onto the show for today, and he's kind of started to right the ship, but I think maybe if he comes on the show, he's going to turn things around.
It can't hurt. It's all the voodoo pins we can stick in him. It can't hurt. Because,
well, we've taken them all out.
Well,
so
yeah.
He's not hurting anymore.
No, he's hurting, but he's hurting his team. But maybe he'll bounce back. Who knows?
We got to try something around
We do.
Here. It's about all the Brewers talk we can have when you're mired in such a season.
Well, and Bronny's...
He's out 6 to 7 days.
There's no pain, but he can't play.
Yeah, what?
What is that all
I don't
about?
know how...
I'm fine, but I didn't play 5 of the last 6 games.
I need like a whole week's worth of rest.
For my back.
A month into the season.
And then it was his finger, and then it was something else.
It's always something with
it is.
We're not going to talk a whole lot of Brewers other than that today.
Just because there's too much high school stuff going on.
Yeah, we got brackets.
We got bracketology.
Brackets are out. Baseball,
right.
softball.
Many state champions in that list.
Maybe.
I
don't have all the. I just want.
I bet we could. You never know.
It'd be nice. We'll try to break him down here in this week's episode, Extra Points. Maybe talk a little Indy 500.
Ooh, Brickyard Road.
I'll have to have Vaughn chime in on that.
All right.
See. That's coming up this week's episode of Extra Points. You know us, you know we love to do the little bracketology here on Extra Points. This is our
done.
sports show here from GazetteExtra.com. John Barry to my left. I'm Eric Schmoldt. And we get together most every week to discuss local sports. And since we last talked, the brackets for softball and baseball are out. Obviously, we should note this is a big week for golf and tennis, boys tennis, and track and field, boys golf.
Baseball starts at the end of the week.
With regionals kind of going on as we're shooting this and sectionals about to be done, maybe by the time you even watch this, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to break those down.
Nope.
So we'll, especially with track and field, next week we'll kind of break down who we've got from the area going on to state.
We got some good ones.
Obviously Memorial Day this weekend, so not much going on, but next weekend.
We got some good athletes in the track and field portion of our show that are going to find the podium at state.
It was fun to watch Monday night. Some of the Craig Sprint relays got it going on.
Craig's 400 relay, the boys are flying.
I think the 8 has
the
better
8's good
chance.
too. Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll argue about it next week once we figure out seeds.
I'm not going to argue about it. I hope they both win. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But for now, we'll try to break down some of the action on the diamond here. Probably start with softball, which started Tuesday night. So some of this will be old news, but it really goes kind of in earnest Wednesday with the start of regional play. And I think all eyes around here, obviously, will be on Janesville Craig, which was able to, as you saw on Thursday, capture the Big 8 title outright last week. Yeah.
Just another heads up, if you're tuning into this tomorrow by chance, we will have the Craig game on WCLO on the radio at 4:30 against Badger. But I got a chance to look at the Cougar stats, and they're pretty impressive. Hannah Halverson, the senior shortstop's hitting about 500. Kayla Kaufman is hitting 460, but has, I believe I saw it at 35 RBIs for the season. That's a lot.
Crazy.
I think 6 home runs and 4 triples. And
she never had a home run before in any level before this year. Now she's hit 6 of them. So.
Right. Jenna Brandt, 14-1. Obviously, her only loss was Verona.
Is her ERA under 1?
It's low, and I want to say it's right around the 1.0 mark. If it's higher, it's not by much.
Yeah.
And just a very strong team up and down the lineup. And again, it's just too bad that they're stuck in that sectional.
Yeah, pretty loaded sectional. Craig, as Bear said, hosting Badger at 5:00 on Wednesday night, and then
4:30.
Is it 4:30?
4:30. Yeah, they moved it.
Here we go.
They moved it because of you got to remember the youth.
Got to get those youth games
Youth games are all in full swing, so they've got to clear them out of there as soon as they can.
Then, presuming they win, Badger has not had a very great year, so you would think.
Be Wilmot or Waterford,
they would probably Wilmot. They would host them Friday afternoon.
And Wilmot beat one of the 2 good teams in the...
there's not really any off days over there in the lakes. What you get, Westosha, Union Grove, Delavan Darien, Wilmot, it's tough to find a break over there. So I think, if we see Wilmot versus Craig Friday, it could be a good game.
It should be a good game. And like you said, other than what should be a relatively smooth sailing, so to speak, in game 1 against Badger, After that, you're right. It's going to get tough for the Cougars, but I think that's a team that I think all season long has played up to the competition level that they're going up against, and I think that's what you're going to see. And the thing about softball and baseball, for that matter, it's not a 5-game series. It's what happens on one game, and if Jenna Brandt's on, or the Cougars can get to what's going to be the best pitching they see all year, if they can put a couple of runs across, that might change the whole complexion of what's going on the other side of the field with the other team. So, it's important. And in fact, it's paramount for Craig to get off to good starts and not fall behind, because with that good of pitching, runs are going to be at a premium.
Not going to be very high scoring games.
No, not at
all. They would run into, it would be nice for them to make sectionals. It would be a good way to cap off the season. And I think anything beyond that would be icing on the cake. They would probably run into Westosha in the sectional semifinal, and Westosha's,
defending Division I champs.
Yeah,
so.
And they're there, it seems like, almost every year for the past almost decade.
And I think more than anything, the reason it's important is because other than Kaufman, everyone's back. The Cougars don't lose anyone, but obviously Kayla Kaufman's going to be a big loss. But that means 8 of your 9 starters are back next year, and obviously you want to set the tone and not only prove you can play with them, but set the bar for next season, and what should be an even, I would think, just as good of a season for Craig next year with everybody back.
Yep. First things first.
Let's get through regionals and get to sectionals. Yes.
As competitive as that Division I sectional or regional and sectional
pales in comparison to the
Division II one is, obviously, we talked a little bit about last week, and now we've got the bracket in front of us. Not exactly as you kind of threw out your predictions last week. It's Delavan Darien with the number 1 seed, Turner the 2, Columbus the 3, Monroe the 4, and Evansville the 5. And really all 5 of those teams have had pretty darn good years.
I think obviously Turner and Delavan are pretty secure at 1-2, but I think you probably could have put any one of those the other 3 teams, Evansville, Monroe, and Columbus, you could have flip-flopped them anywhere, and I don't think there'd have been much complaining going on. So, when you look at it, I think Delavan and Turner on a collision course, but I don't think I know a whole lot about Columbus, and obviously, a pretty solid program there. And Monroe,
they've been every year for a decade.
Every year the Cheese are right there, and they're going to be a tough out as well. And Evansville, if Kishore's on, and Evansville can eliminate the errors, because that's what's hurt them all year, they can play with those teams too.
Kind of root for almost a Delavan Turner matchup, because this would be like the 4th straight year I think they would meet. Every one of their games. It's been I think Delavan won before last year. Delavan won twice in a row, and then Turner knocked them off and made it all the way to state last year. And that's become a bit of a fun rivalry, with even though these 2 teams don't see each other too much and they're not in the same conference. Right.
And I think when you look at Delavan, obviously Jenna Speth, the senior that's going to Illinois Chicago, what a great way to cap off her career if she could get that team to state, because
they've never been there.
They've never been there, and she's clearly, on both ways, not only pitching but hitting wise, certainly one of the best softball players we've got in this area.
And Turner, having lost a huge senior class, they've come back and really stepped it up to get back to where they are here at the 2 seed, and we'll see if they can make another run like they did last year all the way to the state tournament. Baseball. Most, we don't start till next week for Division I, but some the first regional games here for Division II and III start Thursday. So get a couple games out of the way this week at least, and get things kind of set.
Mother Nature cooperates, and we're not dealing with rainouts on Saturday and Monday and everything else. But
once we get to next week, I guess we should mention it, because we won't have another video before then. So it was Parker getting the 5 seed, so they're going to have to go on the road, or they're going to have to host a game but play 2 regional games, which hasn't been the case here recently. Got to host Elkhorn to earn a shot to go at Fort Atkinson on Thursday.
Thing to keep in mind about the Vikings, and this come from a couple of good sources. They said Hunter Van Zant, his last outing against La Follette, when he hit him, had a perfect game in the 7th, looked like he did when he was a sophomore. They said the fire was back. He had that good arm whip, and if that's the case and he can revert back to his old ways, Parker's going to be tough to beat, because when he's on, he's as good as any pitcher around here, and it'll be interesting. I think Parker, there were some rumblings that they got the 5 seed instead of the 4, but I think that second loss to Beloit probably did it because Beloit swept the season series from them. And Fort Atkinson's had a good season in the Badger South, not as tough as a Big Eight, but certainly, the Blackhawks have had a good year. And, I think in baseball, I don't think home field is as big of an advantage as it is in some other sports, probably like basketball or, golf or something like that where you're playing on a home course. But baseball, it's a lot of times it just comes down to who's getting the pitching and who's making plays. And I don't think it matters where you're playing.
I guess the interesting thing with Van Zandt would be if we could get to sectional Tuesday and have the first game be Parker Craig again. He loves to go against Craig, and it would be, we've seen them match up at sectionals quite a bit recently, and it would be another kind of thriller down there at Beloit. But as we said with softball, first things first.
Let's
Parker
get to it first.
We'll host Elkhorn Tuesday night, next Tuesday down at Riverside. So and that's where things will start there this week. Division II. Some of the games that we've got, Edgerton at Broadhead Judah, Delavan Darien goes to Bigfoot, in that regional. Turner, the 1 seed, coming off a season where they,
really dominated.
And they went unbeaten in the Rock Valley South, and no Rock Valley South team had done that in almost 2 decades. So.
And it starts with Ethan Burns, their fine catcher and leadoff hitter, and he is solid, and, that's a good team.
Then Evansville's the 2 seed, a nice season for them. They've, kind of hovered around the 500 mark, but they've some nice wins and got over some close losses early on to kind of get back to that mark.
They have.
And then Whitewater on the other side of the bracket, another team that kind of gave Jefferson a bit of a run for their money there in the north, and we'll see if they can make some waves here in the postseason.
And the Eagles go east; they don't stick around here for tournament baseball. So good luck to Jefferson when they head east and get the Milwaukee schools and the private schools, and a tough thing, but they're certainly capable. But much like the girls softball, it's a tough regional, and some good teams aren't even going to make it to sectional. That's what's going to happen.
It would be nice to see Turner try to make a nice long run after they kind of said after last season they got hype early in the season, and they kind of bought into themselves a little bit too much and didn't quite get the job done once it came down to crunch time. And this year they haven't bought into that, and they've preached hard over hype. I think
it's really, when you look at it, it's very similar to Janesville Craig. You've got what have been two dominant teams during the regular season, the conference season with softball and baseball. If Craig could somehow punch their ticket to state in both sports, it'd be cool if Turner could do the same thing.
Yeah, that would be really special.
That would be really neat
type of year if you can get there in both sports. Anything else on your mind here as we get set to?
No, it's just like I say, it's that time of the year, and the weather's gotten certainly much nicer. And I think when you touched on track earlier, you're seeing time start to come down. You're seeing, in the jumps are starting to increase a little bit more, and this is when certain kids will pick it up a notch, and I think that's what you're seeing. And the same thing with golf. Scores start to come down a little bit.
Well, the weather too. It was a beautiful night Monday night for track, so it really helped people kind of.
And I think a couple of athletes had said that. We're not used to running or competing in this type of weather, so it plays a big part, and hopefully it holds off, and we get everything that's. In what's a busy week, we get everything done.
We touched on conference finals for NHL and NBA a little bit last week.
A little bit, yeah.
And hey. All 4 series actually have turned out to be pretty close, good series in both sports.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch Joe Pavelski. He is in a different planet right now. He got his 10th playoff goal last night, and kind of disappointing in that series for you and I, as Wisconsin grads, because Brian Elliott hasn't played the last couple games.
Yeah. You wonder if maybe they go back to him.
I got to believe after getting beat 6-3 last night that they're going to go back to him. And, you'd like to see Elliott and Pavelski. Obviously, one of them is going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I think, Tampa Bay, the Lightning, Pittsburgh's got the names, but I think Tampa Bay's got the talent. And that's, I think, the difference right now is the Lightning just are very solid. All 4 lines are skating very well right now.
And then in the NBA, the Raptors come out of nowhere and tie the series with the Cavs. I think everybody thought that was going to be a sweep and just get it over with and done with. And all of a sudden, that's a series. And most people probably thought Golden State was going to romp past the Thunder, and that hasn't been the case yet either. So at least 2 sports that I don't get into a whole lot during the regular season, but now is the time where I really kind of like to watch it. And we've got some drama.
The sad thing is, and you talked about the drama, is that like with the Golden State series, they're talking about Draymond Green kneeing or kicking Adams in the groin area instead of playing basketball.
Right.
Should he have been suspended? I don't know. I don't care. I mean, let's talk about basketball. I mean, I can't believe that they were going to suspend him, knowing that that could have an effect on the series. But if he intentionally kicked the guy, he should be suspended. I mean,
but how are you ever going to know?
You can't prove it. How do you know what intent was and everything else? But it was painful to watch. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I was glad it's not Adams.
I'm glad it was not him. Yeah. No, that looked painful.
No Triple Crown.
No Triple Crown. Nyquist, I think, got on the NyQuil instead at the end and ran out of gas. And
I think that we saw that was kind of the case in the Derby, and all of a sudden you stretch it out a little bit further.
He's a mutter.
I don't think he was going to be able to go that long in the Belmont.
And it's too bad because it really takes the wind out of the sails, so to speak, for the Triple Crown, because your interest now in the Belmont is not even close to what it would have been if Nyquist was going for a Triple Crown, and that's what hurts horse racing is if there's not a Triple Crown on the line, nobody cares. You still have bettors, but your viewership's going to be way down because
what's the point?
What's the point of watching it? You don't care,
right? And now Nyquist isn't going to run in it, so we couldn't even have a rubber match.
No.
So,
well, my horse is still on the track,
still going again.
Yeah, he's still running.
And we got the Indy this weekend.
Rev him up. Franchitti, is that my boy?
Heathcliff the Cat, I think, is on the pole.
He retired.
Heathcliff the Cat, is that his name?
James Hinchcliffe.
Oh, Hinchcliffe.
Speed, is he still racing?
He's in a different series too.
Oh.
Ari Leindyke, he out there?
No.
He's been gone a while.
Oh, well, then I got to pull for AJ Foyt then. I always
just
go
pick Elio Castro Nevis just because he's been at it for a while.
Who used to be married to Ashley Judd?
Dario Franchitti.
Okay, but they're no longer married.
No, and he retired after 2000.
Oh, he's not in it either.
He's not in it, no.
We're all out of sorts.
Do we have any local guys in there?
Well, luckily,
no.
Luckily, every year on Sunday of the Indy, we get like 1,000-inch column from Dave von Falkenstein, our producer here, to let us know exactly who's going to win.
Right.
Has he ever answered the question, why do they drink or pour milk on themselves?
It's an old tradition.
All right.
Yeah.
Why not?
1936 it goes back to. So.
Is it skim or is it just whole milk?
Whoever wins gets to choose.
Whatever they want. Yeah. All right.
Eggnog?
It might be soy almond, if they're looking out for their health. It might be. You never
almond
know.
Milk.
Okay.
Hinchcliffe, though, he got the pole. It was a feel-good story that he had a big wreck last year there, and now he's on the pole. So.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go.
Do you think that was rigged?
No.
All right. Maybe he wanted some storylines, but.
Is there an Andretti racing?
Marco.
Okay, I'm going with Marco.
Elio.
Polo. Marco.
Elio Castro Nevis.
All right, and I got Andretti. I was going to take Michael Schumacher, but is he racing?
No, he's in a coma still, I think.
Is he still in a coma? That's too bad. I shouldn't make fun of that.
That's too bad.
I didn't know that, though.
He wasn't at Indy, though, ever anyway.
Oh, sorry, Michael. He's rich, though. He can afford a good therapist.
Just wrong in so many ways.
That is wrong. All right. Yes. Come on, Marco Andretti. Polo.
Oh, boy. On that note, I can't imagine there's anything else we got to cover.
No.
Good grief.
Good grief.
You can find that column, though, in Sunday's paper.
Yes. And it is very well written. If you want to know the sport and know what it's all about, read Dave Vaughn's stories because it's there every year. They get better.
And if you want to take Bear to task for his terrible jokes, you can just let us know at
sports@gazetteextra.com
or leave a comment on gazetteextra.com or YouTube or iTunes or
whatever.
You can find us on
Snapchat.
Twitter. That's really all I've got at this point. I don't know what else to do with you now. Thanks to Kevin McLeod for the music and Indy 500 columnist.
Don't forget Willie.
Dave von Falkenstein, and thanks to Willie, and hopefully we keep his mojo going here.
Come on, Willie.
We'll see you next week to talk state track and see where everybody kind of sits in these brackets.
Take care, everybody.
Hopefully everybody's still going.
All right.
We'll see you then.